Hi folks, how's everybody doing? Woohoo! There's a lot of energy in the room. I'm thrilled to be here in person this year. It's the first time for me, and it's just incredible to see all the energy in the room. I'm Paul Gubbay, Chief Product Officer of Squarespace. I've been at Squarespace now for 4 years, which is pretty amazing for me. And before that, I was at Adobe for about 15 years running the design and web business. So I've been in this space for a long time. I joined Squarespace for a lot of the reasons I think you probably came to Squarespace. The first big one for me is I'm just genuinely passionate about helping entrepreneurs be successful. And so the idea of coming to a place where we could build an entire platform that helps them with every part of their business was really compelling for me. The second reason why I joined Squarespace, again, like many of you, is I am a big believer that design makes a huge difference in everything we do. We are all storytellers. I think that great design really helps us tell that story and that narrative in a much richer way. It helps our customers, our clients stand out, and it makes an impact in terms of the businesses that they build. So for all of you that are here in person, thank you very much. It's great to have the energy. And for all of you that are joining us virtually, thank you also for joining. And very excited to kick us off and share some of the great things we have coming up for Refresh. As mentioned, our theme for the day is Power Up. The expectation for the day is that you will feel powered up and inspired as you go out there and build the next level of your business. But I also want to say that all of you very much inspire us, myself and the team. And that's because it's pretty incredible to have a community, not only of this size, but a community that's this active, that brings things together. And so just to share a little bit about some of the things you do that inspire myself and others, I just want to touch on a couple of things from the community that I think are really exciting. One thing I love is I love it when the community can get together, build their own events and drive their own things and share information with each other. So just to call out to Liz Ellery, who put out the Website Designer Summit, which was for Squarespace customers and for featuring many Squarespace pros. Just a great example of people coming together. Another place that people come together very much is on our forums. We have a very active forum, which is wonderful. I just want to call out Tuan Fan, who has reached over 8,000 forum posts in 2024, closing out just over 68,000 total lifetime posts. So that's pretty incredible. And the third one I want to call out is particularly close to me as a product person. I love it when I see people building products that enhance the Squarespace ecosystem. So I just want to call out SEO Space from Henry Purchase. So great extension. If you haven't used it, I suggest you check it out. It's built by people who are experts in SEO, but it's a beautiful extension. It gives you great results. You see impact from customers, and it plugs directly into Squarespace, either in the CMS or you can run it on a live website. So again, just another great example of some of the many things that inspire us as well. So let's talk a little bit about what's coming soon and what we have been in store for you as we think about Refresh. So this year for Squarespace, we really set out the year with an intention that we want to build the best platform for entrepreneurs to be successful and be able to run their businesses. And I think as professionals, there's really two places where you really get to see that moment come to life. I think the first place is when you first share that vision of what that website might be for a client, and they begin to see all the pieces starting to come together, or they get inspired about what it could be. That's a very exciting moment. I think a second moment that's really exciting is when they make their first sale and they realize, like, oh, wow, I'm actually gonna be able to run a business here, and this could maybe change things for me. And I think that's a very exciting time as well. So those are two big things that we've been thinking a lot about, and we'll talk a little bit about our themes for this year that tie into that. But a great example of what I'm talking about here is this post I saw from Sam a few weeks ago. Sam's building his business. He's taking a look at 7.0 sites that are out there today and looking at what they could be if they were brought onto 7.1 and taking advantage of all the functionality and features there. This is just a great example of someone building their business and taking a look at what's there and trying to move it up to the next level. And we're going to make that easier for you than ever before. with two themes that we've really focused on for this year. So the first theme is design intelligence. Design intelligence is going to be all about ways that you can get to that point much faster of where you can share that vision with your customer of what their website can be. And business guidance is all the work that we're doing around making it easier for your customer to actually build their business, get to that first sale, and then continue building after that. So you're going to see all of these pieces coming together in terms of a lot of things that we are releasing now and will be releasing as we get to refresh over the next couple of weeks. But I'm going to jump in and talk a little bit and show you a few things that are coming together. So design intelligence, let's kick off with that. And design intelligence is a lot about taking technologies like AI that are out there and help people move faster. And AI has been pretty interesting. I think everyone here is very, very well aware of all the incredible improvements that we've seen with generative AI. And you see that particularly working really well when you think about single pieces of content like text or an image or even videos. We see a lot more mixed results when you start putting all of those pieces together in something that's much more complex like a website, because a website is a combination of text, fonts, colors, brand, your customer client's data, all of those different pieces that have to come together. And what I mean by sort of seeing mixed results is I just want to show you a couple of examples. So we took a very simple test. We went to a couple of different vendors out there that build websites with AI, and we gave them a very simple prompt. The prompt was, build a spa business called Soul Meets Body. Just want to show you a couple of those examples we got. This is from an AI website builder. I don't think any of you would build anything like this. I do want to call out how interesting it is for a spa business to have someone looking at a test result and a blood bag. That's a lovely image. Let's go to a much bigger vendor, a really well-known one out there. This is what they came up with. Much better image. Again, I don't think any of you would ever build a website where all the content's below the fold. There's no call to action anywhere on the site, but another example. And this third one, again, by a very large vendor that's built in AI. Not really sure exactly what to make out of this one. There's one image. I think there's a placeholder for an image, and book some services. So, why is this? Like, why do we see a lot of this come together when we look at the content that's coming out there? And I think it's because a lot of these companies have asked themselves the wrong question when they've got started. They look at all the technology that's out there, and the question they've been asking themselves is, how do we use this technology to stand out to our customers? I think that's the wrong question. The question that we ask ourselves, I think the question you ask yourselves every day is, how do we use this technology to help our customers stand out? That's really what the purpose of the technology is. It's to help us move faster to get to a result that's going to work for our customers. And when we think about all of this and how we put this together, we sort of encapsulate all of this in something we call design intelligence. Design intelligence is built upon a very simple belief that AI should unlock human creativity, not replace it. It should enhance what we do. It should make us faster. It does not replace any of us. And for Squarespace, we really see ourselves sitting at what we call the intersection of technology, AI, all the different technologies that are being built that we can all leverage, and curation. That's a big part of this, curation. That's the human element, right? That's the element that you bring to the table with years of experience building websites, forming a point of view on what matters when you build these things together. And with design intelligence, what I'm going to show you and what you're going to be able to see is how much faster we can bring those pieces together, how much faster Sam can build those sites, but how much faster you can share that vision with your customer. So with that, I am going to turn over to our demo screen, and I'm going to show you a little bit of how some of these pieces come together. Now, what I'm going to share with you guys is all of the things that are going to be coming out or are out for refresh already. And what I'm going to do is, because we have so many of these things rolling out at the same time across many teams, some of them are being A/B tested right now, some of them are not out, but they're going to be out in the next couple of weeks. Rather than have a build where I've got 35 different flags turned on and off, I'm going to work through a prototype so I can show you how all the pieces come together, and just, again, show you a little bit about how fast you're going to be able to move. So we're going to take us through a story. We're going to use Andrea. You may know Andrea. She owns a business called Soul Meets Body. You might have heard of it before. And Andrea has come to you as her client, and she's shared with you, you've obviously sat down, got some idea of what it is that she's looking to build. And I just want to show you a little bit about how fast you're going to be able to put some of that vision together and be inspired. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go into Squarespace to get started. when you come in here and you specify what type of business this is, that we've done a lot of work around machine learning this year. We've improved our verticals from a handful to over 900 plus verticals that we now support with Design Intelligence on the Squarespace system. In this case, she's going to type in spa. She's going to specify the type of spa, beauty services and spa, and then we'll move on. Okay, and then what is it that Andrea wants to do? Maybe she wants to sell services, get appointments, she's promoting her physical business, maybe offer a contact form. And so when we click next, we're going to start seeing some of the magic of Blueprint bringing this together. So the first thing you're going to see is we see some text that sort of represents the content that she might have on her site. Maybe we'll specify the name of her site. It's just Soul Meets Body. And then we get to play around with something we call site personalities. So as I click on these personalities, you'll see some different aspects we're doing here. So the content is changing. You're seeing different fonts, different colors, of course. None of this is stuck. You can change anything that much you want. It's just really a chance to just get a little feel for what that personality means. In this case, you know, Andrea's a little bit more professional, so we'll go with a professional look here. And just with those few pieces of information, we're going to click the next button, and we're going to actually generate that website right for you here. And there's a few things I want to call out about what you're looking at here, right? First of all, it looks really good, as it should. It actually has the name of her business, calls to action, has a nav. You'll also notice that the content makes sense for any one of those 900 plus verticals. It actually feels like something right out of the gate that actually speaks to the business. The other thing I want to call out here is look at the imagery. These are images that have been curated by our creative and design team, leveraging AI to generate a beautiful set of images for over these 900 plus verticals. And some of the things to notice about the imagery, you can see how it all looks like it came from the same lookbook. It has a consistent look and feel to it. It makes sense for the vertical. It's sized correctly if it's for a hero or if it's for a 3-up. Now, of course, you're going to change imagery. You're going to make this your own as you build for the customer. But it's just a great way to really get a quick feel for what something like this might feel like and might start to come together. As a pro, of course, you've got complete control over this. We've included some of the sections you might want to have in this page. You can add in a section if you want to, like the social section. That'll add it right into the system for you automatically. Then I'll click the next button and just call out another thing that makes this a little bit different. We're not just generating a homepage. We're generating the whole website right off the bat, or the starting website for you right off the bat. So you'll notice the other pages that we've selected, which you can turn on, you can turn off. But again, they have that beautiful imagery. They have that content. It all feels like it's cut from the same cloth. And then lastly, I'm going to move into our next one, and we have a new feature that's in Squarespace, which is called Site Themes. Site Themes are a way of just packaging up all of the different colors, fonts, buttons, animations into one pack, so it's really easy just to get inspired, play around with different things. In this case, we picked professional, but you could pick something like quirky. You can see the colors and the fonts and everything change. Again, we know Andrea is a little bit more professional, so maybe we'll go with a more neutral professional color. And then we'll click the Finish button. And with that, the website is actually being created and it's being pulled into the CMS. Now, Blueprint's a really fast way to get started, but it is just the beginning of the journey, right? This is really just a quick get started. What we actually want to get into is the product where we can continue making changes. So let's look a little bit about how Design Intelligence shows up in the CMS and allows you to move faster. So again, we've got this really beautiful starting site, just a couple of clicks. One of the first things you might want to do is do a little bit more styling. So we'll click into the Styles panel. You'll see the brand new Styles panel that we have in Squarespace. Again, we've got that concept of the theme right up top. So very easy to get inspired, maybe play around with a couple of different themes just to see what inspires you. In this case, I'll pick a darker brown. And what you'll see is that each theme is made up of a series of different things, fonts, colors, buttons, so on. And what we've really tried to do with the style panel, and in general, you'll see more and more throughout the Squarespace system, is we're really leaning into the idea of progressive disclosure, right? We want to make it really easy at the top level to pick something that kind of gives you a quick win. But then as you go down each level, you get more control, more depth of the product as you might need it. In this case, maybe I'm not going to pick a theme, I want to choose colors, and if I pick on the larger color palette, what I'll actually see here is a set of color palettes that Design Intelligence has selected for you based on what we know about the style you've picked, what we know about the website you're building. In this case, you might want to have a little bit more of this red color in here. That looks really good, kind of inspirational. Of course, you can go into the details. And speaking of which, let's just go down to the forms here. and maybe I don't want to just pick a preset of different forms. I want to get in and actually make changes. I can click the arrow to the right. Progressive disclosure allows me to go down another level where I can get much more into the details that you'd be used to getting into. Maybe I want to change those to a pill instead of a square and so on. So again, just a couple of clicks, easy to be inspired, easy to make global changes that can affect that look of the website really quickly. Now, theming and styling is one piece. Layout, of course, is a very big piece of what we all do. And as we're in 7.1, of course, we have Fluid Engine, so it's a lot easier to be able to make those changes. I'm going to go in here and Cook and Show style, just replace that image. We're going to come out, and since it's Fluid Engine, I can grab this, drag it over. Maybe I can resize the image this way. I'll grab some of the text here and move it over, and just play around as I would to make things look good. But maybe I'm interested in a little bit more inspiration, a few other ideas of how I could lay this out. Well, now you have the new layout picker, the layout switcher. And so if I come over here and select this, you'll see that what Design Intelligence is doing is it's looking at the section, it's looking at the different aspects of the elements in that section, and it's creating different flows or different views that our design team might have created based on that section. Again, could be inspirational for you, could be something that just makes it faster for you to get to that point that you want to. Now, layout switching was made available to Circle members, and thank you very much for all of your feedback. Back then, there were 25 different sort of layouts that we were able to sort of put together. Now we're approaching 500, so pretty big shift in the last few months, a lot of that based on your feedback. In this case here, I really like this full screen one, so I'll select that. Has a really nice look to it. That's great. But of course, there are many things we might want to do to this. I'm going to click a block, maybe add something else in here. Again, I can move a lot of things around, or go right back to that new layout functionality, click on it, and see what else the system is saying I might want to be able to do with this, because it continues to grow and expand based on the content that you have there. In this case, I'll select this one. I think that looks great. Finished up. And so in just a matter of minutes, I've created something really beautiful that just gets me that much closer to that opportunity to sit with Andrea and explain to her what this could look like and how it could come together. So, so that's just some of the aspects of Design Intelligence. Let's flip back over to the slides, and I'm going to walk us a little bit through business guidance. Let me just get out of this and switch over for our next one. Okay, great. Excellent. So let's talk about business guidance. So Design Intelligence is all about getting faster to that first point of bringing that website together. Business guidance is really about making it faster and easier for your client to actually get in and be able to build their business, make those sales, and actually develop their business over time. And when we first looked at business guidance, we really had to take a step back and think about the Squarespace ecosystem as a whole. And so when we think about that Squarespace ecosystem, I think we're all very, very familiar with what I would call the core product, right? Websites, marketing, contacts, and so on. But what we've done over the years, as you all know, is we've built a pretty extensive commerce platform into Squarespace. There are many, many different ways to sell in Squarespace. And this year, we really tried to take a step back and have a very strong point of view about what we think about those different ways to sell and how those show up to you and how they show up to your clients. And so you'll see here all of the different what we call modalities, or different modalities of selling in the system. And then for each modality, there's quite a few different things that you can do under those modalities. And so you've seen a lot of this starting to come together in our nav. You've started seeing this come together already, and you'll see a lot more in the next few weeks coming out as part of Refresh. But these are all the pieces that make up our commerce platform. And the thing that's great about this is that there's many different ways to sell. The thing that's a challenge with this, and the thing that's a challenge when you look at any of these all-in-one platforms, oftentimes for your customer, it feels like we just threw the kitchen sink at you. There's all these different ways that they have to think about when they think about coming onto the platform. Maybe they only want to sell one way. Maybe you're working with a culinary instructor, and a culinary instructor doesn't need all of these things. They really came to you to help build a content and membership site, and that's really the business that they want to run. And maybe over time, as they grow, they realize, oh, I can sell tickets, events, and program registrations. Great, I want that as well. So the challenge for us is, how do we build a system that has all all these different ways to sell, but make it feel like it's customized for you, for your client, and then can grow with them over time. And so that's what we have put together with what we're calling business guidance, which is really a large envelope for many things related to how people are going to be able to build their businesses on Squarespace, some of which you'll see at Refresh and some of which you'll see coming into next year as well. But what I'm going to show you now will be at Refresh. So let's jump back over to Demo Land, and I'll share with you a little bit about what business guidance looks like. So I want you to take this through the lens of your client, opening up the website for the first time after you've customized it for them, which I'm going to show you how you're going to do that. But they come into Squarespace, and this looks a little bit different, right? If you look at that nav on the left, it's got the core elements of Squarespace, and then it really has just the one thing that they're interested in, which is content and memberships. And so the first thing they'll do when they click on content and memberships is they'll be taken to what we're calling our dynamic dashboards, okay? And so they're dynamic because they change over time depending on what your need is as a seller on the platform. So you'll notice, first of all, at the top, it's very clear. This is for content and memberships. This is for you. But you'll notice that this very first view into the dynamic dashboard is what we call the merchandising view. This really shows you all of the types of things you can create when you're looking at content and memberships. It's a course, it's video on demand, it's member sites, it's blogs. All of these things used to be hidden before. Now they're much more directly there for your customer to be able to get started. Let's just say in this case, they're creating a course. They can come right in here. You'll notice that we haven't walked away from the dashboard. We're bringing this up inside of the dashboard. They can go through the steps here of choosing a layout. They can come right into the editor where they can make changes to this. I'll just cooking show style, pun intended, move us forward. And we'll come back out here. And they're back out to their dashboard. And I wanted to show that the dashboard has changed, right? They've already created their first thing. So we don't need to tell them about all the things they can create. Now we want to help them finish that first thing and move on to actually getting a sale. So you'll notice that the dashboard has changed at the top. We're showing you some of the stats that are going to be important to you as you build your business. But the very next thing you'll see below is a setup guide. Now, the setup guides are really smart. You'll see them throughout the system, especially as we move more into this year and next year. At this place, they already know what you've done, so you'll see those checked off. But they're also informing you of what's next and will help guide you through what's next throughout the system as you get your course set up or whatever other piece of content. Of course, you're being told, hey, we've created your first course for you, so we'll close that out. And then you can see under the recently added that course that you very first created. So let's jump ahead. Let's say we've made that sale, that first sale. We've actually made a couple of sales. What does the dashboard look like as we move into the future? So first of all, those analytics are looking a lot better. They're actually filled with information that will matter for your customer, that they'll care about. You'll also notice that that setup guide is gone. You don't need that. You've set it up already. Now you care about your orders, like what's actually coming through the system. So your recent orders are showing up next. Then again, you've got all of those things. At this point, you may have added more elements that you're selling through the system as well. And then you also get insights around, hey, you've had a certain amount of people come. You should generate an email for them to congratulate them, or you could sell custom merch to your customers. So again, just insights that will get smarter and stronger with you over time to help make it easier for you to really create that business and be successful. Now, I mentioned that the system should grow with you, and I mentioned that you should be able to customize the system for what you need. So I'm going to show you something new, which is the ability to be able to customize your nav. So if you see up here, we've got an option here now, which is to customize your nav. It includes more ways to sell. When I select that, you're brought into our product store, which basically shows you all of the different ways to sell, has really clear information about the different things. For many people, this might be brand new news to them. They didn't know they could do this on the platform, that they can do all of these pieces together. In this case, they see donations, which is really interesting for them, so they want to turn that on in their nav. And then as they're leaving, they notice this products and services one, which is interesting. They open that up. They can see they can actually sell event tickets. That's great, something they might be interested in. So they'll add that also to their nav, close that out. And when they close out, you'll now see that those items have now been added to the nav. So this is exactly the way that you could customize the nav for your clients as well, depending on what it is you want them to be able to see and be able to work with. The beautiful thing about this entire system that we're building is that if I click on products and services, it's the same dashboard that I'm used to already from the other modality I worked on. I've got my merchandising. I can see all the different things I can sell, not just physical products, but event tickets, services, downloads, custom merch. If I click on donations, I see goal-based campaigns, fundraisers, sponsorships. So again, just really clear and easy for your clients to be able to run their businesses. And this is just the start of many of the things we're doing around business guidance, but just a great way for folks to be able to get started. So let's switch back over to the slides and I'll wrap this up. So I think the main takeaway here is that with these two pieces together, Squarespace really is for any type of seller. If you are a fitness coach and you just care about scheduling and content and memberships, Squarespace is for you. If you are a tax professional who comes in through scheduling and wants invoicing, absolutely, you have the right pieces for you. If you're a nonprofit and you come in and it's about donations and services, then you have the right Squarespace for you. So hopefully this will be something that you'll be able to put together and just really streamline that ability to set up your customer to be successful. And with that, that's a couple of the things that you'll be seeing at Refresh, or a couple of the themes that you'll be seeing at Refresh. Design intelligence, business guidance. As mentioned earlier, you also, of course, make it much easier for you to be able to use Squarespace payments, and there's now an incentive for that, which is great. I also want to announce one more thing. A lot of what I'm showing you, as you know, is on 7.1. Now, of course, when you're building new things, you can build them on 7.1. When you've got existing clients on 7.0, like Sam, you want to bring them on to 7.1. You've been able to do that with the new migration tool that we released, and that was released based on one template. I am thrilled to announce that we are having a new release coming out of the 7.1 migration tool, and it will support nearly every 7.0 template. So you will be able to bring all of your customers over.